Diving headfirst into Lubbock High athletics. You're listening to the Westerner Fan Zone on 100.7 The Score and the 100.7 The Score mobile app.
Good Wednesday evening. Welcome into the High School Fan Zone on a Wednesday night. I'm glad that I'm here on time. I got distracted on the loop as I was driving over because my phone buzzed and it told me that Bill Self was coming back for his 24th year at Kansas, and I'm a Kansas guy. Hate me or love me, but I was excited about that, so I missed my exit to get off. I had to go clear down and come back around. But I'm here, and so is Daniela. I asked you last time, just Garcia.
Yes.
We're just going Garcia. All right.
Yeah, good.
Fifth year? Sixth year,
yes.
Lubbock High softball coach, and we were just talking right before Brendan made us hot here that she has a really good team. This is not the same Lubbock High program that it has been the last several. Last year, y'all were right there. We're not going to rehash that, the whole weird tournament thing. But your team is right there in the hunt again for the playoffs. That's why I had Caprock in my head when I thought that a second ago. When I was looking at the schedule, have you played Caprock twice already?
Yes, we did. We split.
Okay.
Yes.
See, that's going to be a key right there.
Yes, it is.
Because it looks like Amarillo High and Monterey and Lubbock Cooper, they've not left y'all behind.
No.
But they've got a little bit of a cushion right now. And you still have games. You have Amarillo High this week. Mm-hmm. You split with Monterey. Mm-hmm. Lubbock Cooper, you played
Lubbock Cooper is next Tuesday.
Okay. When I brought up the fact that Brian Cronk and a couple of his girls were on here, I tried to ease into it, but I had to remind him that y'all beat him that first game. Yes. You played them last night.
Yes.
They evened it up, but it sounds like it was a really well pitched, really well played game both ways. They just happened to get a couple runs.
Mm-hmm. It was definitely a pitcher's duel. We hung in there scoreless for 4 innings, and then they hit a home run and a couple more runs after that. And we just really could never get the bats going. Haley Sotelo, our pitcher, she pitched really good last night, and if we would have just had some support on the offensive side, the game would have been a lot different. But
sometimes the pitchers win.
Yes.
That's the second time you've seen their little freshman, who another person Lubbock Cooper was on last week, and Lainey Gibson, arguably one of the best 3 or 4 players in Lubbock right now, was talking about when they played it and that they hadn't seen her, and that she threw a couple of pitches, and Lainey said, she got my attention. I was like, okay, this isn't, I'm going to have to adjust here, because for a freshman, it sounds like she knows what she's doing out there.
Yeah, so she definitely has, she's definitely above average when you come to freshmen, and being a pitcher in the 5A district, with especially how big our district is, she's done really well. And so it's good to have, see her before we go against Amarillo and Cooper. So
Haley's been pitching since she was a freshman, correct?
That is correct, yes.
Did you play as a freshman for JJ at Coronado?
I did, yes.
And you're still very young, so it's funny when you ask young people, that are freshmen, they're like, oh yeah, I'm ready, it's no big deal. And then that there's some butterflies. One of them, I will give a couple of them girls credit the other day. They admitted, we still get butterflies when we go out there, because you get to be a junior or senior and you've been through the drill, you've lifted weights in the off season. It's a little different, but that freshman year, it's for that whole 35 games or whatever it is, you're a little bug-eyed.
Oh, yes, for sure. We have 2 freshmen on varsity, and still getting them adjusted to the game has been an ongoing process, but they've done really well. So I expect big things from them. They help us out this year, but I expect really big things from them next year.
And it's got to help that you have a lot of older players, too, because that takes the pressure. You don't want to tell the freshmen pressure's off, but you can kind of let your
right. Yes, I definitely let our older kids lead them, and we do a really good job. We have a good team chemistry, and our older girls lead. And there's not. Yes, I do coaching, but I don't have to do as much because they're so good at what they do. So.
I've done this for 35 some years, and it took about halfway through that when I was covering a college coach actually, and he had a bunch of players back who'd been there for a few years, and I went and watched practice, and he looked relaxed. Mm-hmm. And I asked him afterwards, I said, you're different than the last few years. He goes, I'm not different. They're different.
Yes.
You're not on cruise control, but like you said, they know what you don't have to preach the same thing over and over. They've gotten the sermon. They know it's hit its mark.
Yes, my first couple of years was
Right.
It was a doozy, but then getting the experienced players and then getting the same girls back over and over every year has been good for our program, and it's led us to being able to compete in a very strong district. So
I don't know if I've ever asked another coach this. It's been fascinating for me to watch Liberty and Memorial coaches go through what they have, where you get them as freshmen, sophomores. You know you're going to have all that time with them. Would you ever like to do something like that? Go to a school that's brand new and kind of have to build the foundation?
I think that would be very fun. I would definitely get to set your ways and your coaching philosophies and all that good stuff, and kind of get to guide the little ones more towards you don't have to. I guess you don't have to really follow somebody else, so you just get to do your own thing and go from there.
Which, like you just talked about, you kind of had to do that at Lubbock High, but Lubbock High's been around since the start of time, a long time.
I was going to say like 30 years or so, almost.
It's just a different situation when the school's brand new. When you grew up in Lubbock, and I say this to people who grew up here all the time, when I was here in the late 90s, it didn't even cross my mind that there was going to be 2 new high schools. I thought,
Right.
Ben, this is a cool-sized town. It's going to grow, and these schools will get bigger. No thought that there would be brand new schools at some point.
Oh, that never crossed my mind too, especially when I was, playing under Coach Johnson in high school and then coming back and going through LCU. It still wasn't anywhere to where it is now.
Nope,
So.
it's the growth of Lubbock, and it's changed. It's changed the complexion. I like the fact that you are one of the teams from LISD that is not just holding your own, but you're on the rise, because I think that's good for Lubbock, that all 3 districts have something that they can kind of latch onto. When I say they're on the rise, Lubbock High is now 16-9-2, 7-4 in District 3 5A, so you're right there. Caprock's half a game behind you at 7-5. Still got some work to do, so we'll talk a little bit more about what's coming up on the schedule. But last night took a loss to a good Monterey team, but that gives you a split. That always helps to have that split.
Yes.
So coming up on a break, we'll be back in the high school fan zone right after this on 100.7 The Score.
Your inside look into Lubbock High sports. This is the Westerner Fan Zone on 100.7 The Score and the 100.7 The Score mobile app.
Welcome back in. This is the high school fan zone on a Wednesday night. We are creeping up on Easter, so that's changed the schedule a little bit. That means a lot of teams played Tuesday and play again Thursday, including Lubbock High softball girls. My brain's frozen. Tell me again who you play.
Amarillo High tomorrow night.
Amarillo High at home.
Yes.
They got to make them come down here.
Yes.
Make them. It's something about, and I was talking to one of the golf coaches of all people today. First round of district golf was here for the boys on Monday. A bunch of Lubbock golfers did well. We're right there in the hunt. Second day was up in Amarillo, and they just swept everything. Like no Lubbock kids made it to regionals whatsoever. There's something, I don't know if they put something in the water up there or what it is, but when you played at Coronado, was Amarillo in district with you, or was it a separate?
It was separate still.
Okay.
So we played them non-district, but they were always tough.
In Amarillo High especially, that's like for lack of a better term, that's the kind of the, what's the word I'm looking for? Flagships of school in Amarillo. It's like Lubbock High's been there forever. But it was a few years ago. They were not great because I remember we were just talking about Monterey. Monterey beat them in a playoff series, and it wasn't very competitive. You've coached for a little bit now. You know that it can be cyclical. You guys are on a good cycle right now, and we've talked a couple of times. It took some time to get there, but it sounds like to me, watching you guys on Game Changer, seeing you in person the times I have, that y'all are about to get rid of the cycles and just be consistently good.
I hope so.
Fair enough?
Yes. So we've had, like I said, we have, we have 4 seniors this year, which they all contribute to our team. And then we have, the rest are juniors. We also have 4 juniors. And so the rest are underclassmen. And so it's a good spot to be in, where we have freshmen coming up and they're learning the ways, and that way next year they're ready to roll. And then we sophomores stepping up as juniors, and then our juniors finally getting that senior leadership spot that they want to do. So
that's, you got to pass the baton. That's
Yes.
the way. And you want those girls that are younger now to start to see what you guys have done to get to where you're at, because Did you get to the playoffs 2 years ago?
No, we weren't. No.
Last year was the closest you've been since you've been there.
Yes.
And I'll go out on a limb. This will be what drought will you end when you get to the playoffs this year?
We said, I think 2013, 14.
And I know I can guess the answer to this because I've seen you with your girls. How exciting will it be for you if your girls can punch that ticket and get to the playoffs and be that Lubbock High team that gets there?
Oh, I think it makes them even hungrier to go out and win more games. Those girls bring the excitement every game, and they're just so much fun to always be around. And, they love each other, and they love the game, and they love being out there with each other. And so, really seeing them get it would be the amazing thing for them.
And because you come, for folks who don't know, Daniela played at Coronado when Coronado was the program in Lubbock for years and years. So playoffs are going to be old hat to you on one level, but I think it's going to be really cool when you get to coach a team in the playoffs.
Yes. And so just being able to give, my kids that experience and them being able to see a different type of atmosphere and, just know that they're playing something for something bigger than themselves and they play together. So
we talked a little bit about what you guys have done. And before we ever started, I said this to Danielle. I'll say it publicly. This is not... The first couple of years when I had HubCityPreps.com, softball was all sports at Lubbock High can be tough because it's a different kind of situation than most 5A schools. I want to say this as nicely as possible. I don't think teams worried that much when they saw Lubbock High on the schedule. Fair enough?
Fair enough, yes.
And when I was looking ahead at your schedule, I'm thinking, okay, so you got Amarillo High tomorrow, and then Lubbock Cooper next week. Teams can't look at the schedule and say, okay, chalk that one up. You're not a check mark anymore. They've got to be ready to play you guys because you compete with everybody you play.
Yes, and we've done a really good job this year of competing in almost every district game that we've been in. We've been in all of them, and then last night we played a tight game with Monterey, and so no, we're not just a check mark anymore. Our girls have done a great job of building that foundation, and they just keep building and making things better. And so Lubbock High is not the same Lubbock High it used to be. That's for sure. And
not to dismiss the next few games because those are ones you want to come out and see where you're at barometer-wise, but your schedule sets up where if you can survive the next week or so, you've got a chance to get a little bit of momentum going. How do you keep your girls locked in? Because Easter is one of those weird weeks where you see them and then you won't see them for 3 or 4 days.
Right.
How do you make sure they come back locked in? Because it's Lubbock Cooper, so that's going to fire them up a little bit.
Right, and they do a good job of telling me. And so, yeah, I don't have to really worry too much, but we're going to do some team bonding. We're doing an Easter egg hunt on Friday after our practice. And so, just being able to have that team bonding, seeing them together. We're going to watch a movie in the outfield. So it'll be fun. And that's the type of stuff that the girls like to do. And, building that culture really sets the tone for next year's.
At some point, we got to get Jimmy out there to give a win one for the Jimmer speech or something.
Yes.
That wraps us up in the Lubbock High Fan Zone. We'll be back right after this in the Mustang Fan Zone on 100.7 The Score.